Rashford. Oh, glorious! That is a special one.
Boom, bam, bam, President Chad here, and you are looking at the United Hour. Normally you see a big panel, a panel here, and we're gonna have some people rolling in shortly, having some technical difficulties on their end. We have a packed show for you today. As the thumbnail said, we had to talk about Scott McTominay and Maguire. Do they have a long-term future at Manchester United? Very interesting in hearing what you have to say. So when we get to make sure and comment and let's know what you think about that. But we also have to talk about Casemiro and Varane because they have been underperforming recently in Casemiro's side, and on Varane's side, he seems to be out of the team a lot more than in the team. So we're going to be talking about that. David De Gea back in Manchester. We're going to be talking about that. And there was a closed behind closed doors match between Manchester United and Burnley. So we're going to be talking about that as well. So I am going to start off reading the statement from René Mulestein. Now, all of us know René, most of us would like René. He was an assistant coach under Sir Alex Ferguson, and he has a heart after Manchester, is very, significant in the history of Manchester United. During our treble, he was the assistant coach. And René Mulestein made this statement concerning Varane and Casemiro. He said that Rafael Varane and Casemiro no longer possess the physical capabilities to thrive in the Premier League. That was the statement by René Mulestein. So I'm very interested, guys, let me know in the comments. Good afternoon to Jeffrey. Jeffrey, I will show those statements when we get to that topic. We're talking about Varane and Casemiro right now. And good afternoon to Martin Phillip. So, comment and let me know if you all think that Casemiro and Varane are up to the task as far as the level of intensity in the Premier League. I am joined presently by the big man himself, Kes. How you doing, my brother?
Good evening, man. Good evening.
All right. So, Kes, we had to be very real and practical about it. I love Casemiro. I'm sure you love Casemiro as well, right? We all
Yes.
admirers of these two players playing for Real Madrid. Even though we would not have supported them playing for Real Madrid, we were admirers of them playing for Real Madrid. But
Mm-hmm.
historically, players that leave the Premier League have been known to go to the Spanish League and extend their years. Cristiano Ronaldo, Luka Modric, and there are others. Young players that leave the Spanish League and come to the English Premier League do well. I can't really think of many players in their late 20s that left Spain and came to England and had long-term success. Can you think of any in case it is missing me or anybody in the comments? Let us know if there are any players that would have come across from Spain
Not,
in their late 20s, early
not,
30s and been successful. Let me know.
none actually come to mind.
Yeah, none comes to mind. And we all know that the intensity of the Premier League is more intense than than the than La Liga. I mean, there are fouls given in La Liga that most Premier League referees wouldn't even look at a second time. They wouldn't even consider blowing the whistle for it. So it is a less
It's,
intense game.
it's not just the intensity of the game; it's the amount of games.
That too,
Like,
Manchester United players. And just to touch on that point, and then I'm going to read some comments and let you jump in. Right, Manchester United is coming out of the international break, and on Saturday the 21st we play Sheffield United. 2 days later, on the 24th, we play we play FC Copenhagen in a Champions League game. So that's our Premier League game, must win because we need the points. A Champions League game, must win because we need the points. And then Manchester United play Manchester City 3 days after, well, 4 days after that on the 29th. And then on the 1st, we play Newcastle in the English League Cup. Now, one would think, well, it's the English League Cup. We are the holders of the English League Cup. So we need to represent where that is concerned. So we have 4 games in about 8 to 9 days. We hear that Varane is supposed to be coming back and he should be available for the Sheffield United game. Do we think Varane could play 4 games in 9 days? When you look at Casemiro form, do you think Casemiro could play 4 games in 9 days? No, so let me read some comments and then Kes, I'm going to hear your thoughts on it. So Jeffrey is saying, why is Jeffrey's comments taking so long to load? Anytime you can easily get a player from Madrid, just know that they aren't clinical as they used to be. So Jeffrey is saying that the only reason we got that player, those players, were because Real realized that, they were probably on the way down. I think you could add Bayern Munich to that. Bayern Munich don't ever give us players. We got Sabitzer on loan. But Bayern Munich traditionally don't sell United players when they're on the ascendancy or they're riding good, consistent form. As soon as we got Hargreaves, it was injuries after injuries. I don't know how they knew, but Hargreaves is one, Schweinsteiger is another one. Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, in my opinion, do ever give Manchester United a good deal at all. Big Phil is saying Casemiro and Varane maybe 5 to 7 years ago, maybe. Now at their age, they need to be rotated. And I totally agree with that. Martin Phillip is saying Casemiro out of United at this time will leave a hole in the team. And is he messed up thing? Totally correct. You don't agree? All right, good. Well, we're gonna come back to that. We're gonna touch that when we get into to talk. Val E. Condes. I hope I know I butchered your name. I'm sorry. And he's saying that he's watching from Lambueno. Thank you for taking us in from so far away. And again, sorry for butchering your name. Let's see what Jeffrey is saying. Keep in mind, we aren't getting these players in their prime. Hence, they would perform top level for 1 or 2 seasons, and that's it. We played a lot of money, especially for Casemiro. And Casemiro had an excellent first season. I would hate to think we're ready to say that that's it. I would hate to think that we're ready to say, yeah, that is it for Casemiro. Oh, time to go. Let me read one more comment and then Kes, you jump in. And Big Phil is saying only older players who came over to the Premier League who did well and or okay for their age was Thiago Silva, Zlatan, and maybe Cavani. That's true. Thiago Silva did come from the La Liga. Zlatan played in La Liga, but Zlatan, like Ronaldo, is like a freakish specimen. So we can't really compare him. And Cavani, I think when we got Cavani, where did he come from? France?
Yeah, PSG.
Yeah, when we got him, he came from France. But Cavani was a journeyman. He played in Spain. He played all over the place. And Big Phil is right. Those are the names of people that I could think of off the top of my head that have come and have been successful. Definitely, Thiago Silva was a bit of a success. And then we got Cavani on a free. So talk to me, Kes. You don't think Casemiro would leave a big hole in our team if he's rotated? Because we're not talking about dropping Casemiro or Varane. We're just talking about rotation.
But you saw that in our last game when
he came off at halftime.
Yeah. I think there was always a plan. There was always a plan. And that was part of the plan. Right? For Casemiro, once Amrabat fit and ready to go, if it's not he and Casemiro, it will be Amrabat. Right? Because Casemiro is class. world class. But there is, we can't dismiss, there is a significant drop off, right? And what I saw in that second half against Brentford, I saw that that was part of the plan to you know to play with Amrabat in the CDM position by himself, right? And so going forward, that is an option. I ain't saying we go bench Casemiro or anything like that, but it gives us rotation. And with Minu coming back, right, and even the the energy of Hannibal, right? Because I mean, we missed that Fred energy. Hannibal, take that, right?
For real, for sure.
You have greater options, right? And we could save the likes of Varane and Casemiro for these Champions League games and the games against Man City.
All right, all right. I hear that. I hear that. Um, we have joining us a little late, drinking some juice. I don't know if the juice is what had him late. The man
Mm.
himself, Robert Wallace. So, Robert,
Right.
chime in on this conversation.
Mm.
René Molestein says the intensity of the Premier League is a little too much for the La Liga weary legs
Mm.
of Casemiro and Varane, suggesting that we're going to need to rotate these guys and we can't really depend on them game in, game out. What's your take on it? Or what do you think about Casemiro and Varane going
Um,
forward in the United shoes?
well, I mean, I don't put much thing into it. I don't because I think it's just the media.
Robert, just center yourself on your screen there. I just changed the lineup.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
yeah. I just think that is just the media itself. They are. I think it's
Well,
just a little bit of
this was not
bias.
this wasn't a statement from media. It is a statement from a past United assistant coach that I believe still has an interest in
Mm,
Manchester and still wants Manchester to be successful. If it
well,
was a media pundit, I probably wouldn't even talk about it at all because them fellas and them most of the time is a waste of time.
yeah, but I mean, I don't know if remember, right? We are not in the best of in the best of frames. We're not in the best of form. So it is in style now to beat on the club. You
So you
understand?
saying that the club is going through poor form and it's easy to try to scapegoat
Yeah,
certain
well, yeah,
players.
because I mean, we could because if you're gonna talk about Casemiro and Varane, then you have to talk about Onana, Bruno, Rashford, Martial. Um, who else? Who else? I mean, has been poor.
Yeah,
I mean, you could you,
very
you, you can
a
you
lot,
can
a
give
lot of
your
players have been poor. So I
right.
guess if
So
you're
why
saying,
you
well,
why you only
if
picking? But
if
to
their
me,
excuse is their
mhm,
legs, then where's
what is
Rashford excuse?
exactly that? And sometimes that's what I'm saying. So to me, now we all knew that Varane was injury prone, right? We all knew that. Even from the days of Real Madrid, he was injury prone. But the difference was Real Madrid squad and the way how that club was structured, they hid a lot of his deficiencies, right? So when Varane was going to be injured, Zidane knew, or Ancelotti knew, take him out, give him a rest. They had other players to come in for him. They kept him for big games. This is very, very similar to what they did with Ronaldo, with Benzema. Because even that year that Benzema won the Ballon d'Or, he didn't play much La Liga games, but he was there for the big games. And they kept him fit, they kept him well packaged. Casemiro was well packaged, and but for us, we abused Casemiro. Same way how we abused Rashford, I believe, what, 2 years ago, when he was played with an injury. We abused him. And we have this habit of taking players and then we just run them in the ground. I mean,
And
Ericsson.
why do you think that is? Do you think we run players in the ground because I mean people that is a criticism often leveled at Liverpool's coach, right?
Yes,
But
yeah,
on our side, I think we do that because we just do have the depth of squad. We do have quality
well,
on the
exactly.
bench.
And but you
Klopp does
see,
it because he
well,
just have a starting 11 and he like to play that starting 11
right,
every
but
week.
again, that has been Klopp's MO from since even the days of Dortmund. He had his sure 15 players, and then when he used to run until they died, and then he would go and get some more players. We we have a structure of we buy for a coach, the coach leaves, buy for a coach, the coach leaves. There is no structure in place. So to me, it comes down to again the owners. If we were properly backed, right, even in this window, if we had gotten in an ex centre back, forget Harry Maguire, right? Even if you had gotten like I think it was Tapsuba, I believe. I can't remember who was who we were in for.
October, Todibo,
Right.
Pavard.
If you had gotten okay, let's say we gotten two of those, we gotten Pavard and Tapsuba, right? Would we would we be here talking about Varane being injured? No, because even if Varane did get injured, his injury would not have been as severe because they would have seen it from before. They'd have took him off, bring in Pavard or Tapsibo, let them play. When he's back, he comes back in the game, he comes back in the team, and we wouldn't miss him. You understand? But we are at the point now where the we didn't get to sell Harry Maguire. Ten Hag doesn't trust Harry Maguire. But now we are forced to play Harry Maguire. And you've seen the big drop off between Harry Maguire and Varane. There's a big drop off between Martinez and Johnny Evans. There's this huge drop off. So now everything is just amplified now. You know?
So, I know we have to add Martinez to the list because the reality is, even when Martinez comes back fit, if we want to keep Martinez fit for the rest of the season and long term, his career, we can't bring him back and be playing him week in, week out, playing 3 games a week. And
Wow.
hopefully, when he comes back in January, Manchester United still playing 3 games a week, and we're not just playing Premier League football.
Mad.
So hopefully.
Well, there is the option of rotating him with Shaw, and because we have Sergio Golian for the season on loan, and you will
Mhm.
have Malasia also on his way back, right?
Mhm.
So at least we have
So
option on that side of the side.
So
Yeah.
we are all agreeing that as good and as classy as Casimiro and Varana, we are not downplaying their quality. We are all agreeing that we're going to need to rotate them. We cannot play these guys
Yes.
week in, week
Then
out at this
two,
stage of the career.
to me, it was I would also blame Ten Hag in this because I have said it before. I didn't understand why we brought Mount in. I don't get it. Maybe later on I'll get it, right? But I don't get it right now. To me, Amrabat should have been in the team since June, and these are facts. He should have been in the team since June. You should have
I mean,
had should have had him in there with Casemiro since June. To me, our preseason was horrible. We should have never gone to America, but I get why. Money. I understand money. We just stayed in England because we were buying a brand new goalkeeper to introduce entire defense. We were trying to rebuild the midfield. We bringing in Hoyland. These players should have been in since early. We should have never gone abroad for preseason. We should have stayed in England and just have Ten Hag with the players and drill and drill and drill and drill and drill. And then come the first day of the season would have been at least a lot further along. But we
I wanna
are
I wanna
Manchester.
give you a little pushback on one of the things you said.
Mhm.
Since the arrival of Bruno Fernandes, he has been critical to this team. Regardless of who is the coach, if Bruno Fernandes is not in the starting 11, we don't look like Manchester United. right? He has been the most important player. This team goes the way Bruno Fernandes goes. When he is not on it, the whole team not on it. And you said you don't understand why we buy Mount. Mount to me can't play in Bruno Fernandes. And he's competent. The other day when we didn't start, when Bruno Fernandes wasn't on the team sheet, Mount was in the team sheet, played in that midfield, and we beat Crystal Palace 3-0. Right?
That was
So
our second string Palace, not first
it
team
don't
Palace.
matter. It was not our. We
No,
rested we
It was
rested
only
Bruno,
two, it was only two
we rested
starters.
Rashford.
Mm.
So Crystal Palace didn't start about 6 or 8 of their starters. We didn't start about 4 or 5 of ours. So it doesn't matter. What matters is that the team still look like a Manchester United team. Because let us be real. In the past, we would have played second string teams with Bruno Fernandes not starting on the bench to bring on, and we look horrible. Right? Facts is facts. We look horrible. So I think Mount was brought in to not necessarily rotate. I think the hope was that he could fit into the starting 11. We still have to see if that could really work, if he and Bruno could play together. But at least we know that we could rest Bruno. Whereas before, resting Bruno was an option.
Yeah, that no, I mean, and that I agree with, but I would still say this: Amrabat should have come in first. He should have come in first. He was.
I know. Kes would agree with you. I would agree with you because I am not a Mason Mount. Well, I was not. Let me just say I am not. I am now, but I was not a Mason Mount fan. The only thing with Amrabat is I personally believe he and Ten Hag spoke early in the window, and they knew that was going to happen. Amrabat knew he was coming, refused to play, make sure he wasn't injured. Ten Hag knew he would have gotten him, even if it came down to the last day of the window. The price fell. Whatever they did, it worked. The price for him fell. It would have been nicer if he was integrated into the team earlier. I agree. But I think Ten Hag went for the players that he thought would have been a little harder to get.
Yeah.
I think he knew Amrabat was inside, and Amrabat knew he was inside too. So it was just a waiting game on Florentina. But I'm going ahead and make a final point, and then we're gonna switch gears.
But I mean, but I understand that, but I mean, I still think that Casemiro has a place in the team. I think the team itself is just off. To me, Casemiro was never a lone CDM. He was never that. Even in the days of Real Madrid, he was never that. So now to try and make him into something that he never was, to me, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he was always the best Real Madrid team with him in it. He was playing next to Cruz.
Exactly.
And even though Cruz is not really a CDM, he did help. He provided cover in that position.
Exactly.
All right, for real. So let's talk about what the thumbnail is about. And it is Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire. We all know what happened in the summer. The club tried to sell Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay. Strangely enough, West Ham came in for both of them. It's rumored that other clubs would have come in for Maguire, or at least inquired, and for Scott. Manchester United had a $30 million deal on the table for Scott. They tell West Ham, nah, forget that. We want more money than that. They had a $30 million deal on the table for Maguire. Maguire was like, nah, I want to stay at Manchester United. Me ain't going away. And hence, we ended up with Scott and Maguire. That were heroes in our last game. I don't want to lump them together because I know the answer may not be the same for both. Right? So my question to you all is this. Does Scott McTominay have a long-term future in the team? Does Harry Maguire have a long-term future in this team? Before, let me just read one comment because we had a comment from Jeffrey early on. And he was like, no. Sell. Well, I can't see. Right? But sell them. Right?
Tell them Manchester.
Right. Sell the Manchester City. Correct is right. Big Phil is saying Scott and Maguire, thank you for your service, but it's time to go when we purchase adequate cover. So Big Phil is also under the impression that these guys have no long-term future. regardless. I will share my thoughts afterwards. Guys, talk to me. Does Scott McTominay have a future in your mind at Manchester United?
Not beyond the season. Not beyond the
All
season.
right, so just this season. You
Right?
wouldn't get rid of him in
I
January.
mean, I am no, not in January. End of the season. Maguire before January, if possible, right?
So Maguire have
But
no future.
McTominay, no, none whatsoever, right? I mean, while
For me,
here, hope, yes, no, while here, we hope they do the best to make them attractive to other clubs, right? But
you
long
want them fellas
term,
to play for their value to bust out.
yes, yes, right? McTominay, how to put it? What exactly is his greatest position? What is his best position? Right? Because I mean, he does create a threat going forward, playing forward, but box the box or defensive midfield, no, no, right? So for now, until the end of the season, it's not a bad option against if you're going and keep dumping balls in the box playing against low block teams, right? But long term, that is not our game.
All right. So, Robert, what would you say to people who are like, boy, Scott McTominay is the modern day Darren Fletcher? A utility player, you could deploy him in defense, you could throw him in drag, you could put him in the right back, you could throw him in the midfield. He's gonna come out there and he's gonna sweat blood for the badge. Does United still have place for players like that? The Darren Fletchers of old? Or you don't think Scott McTominay is
Okay,
as good as Darren Fletcher? Because in my
I
opinion, he better. Darren Fletcher was trash, right? But Scott McTominay, when
Yeah.
I said trash, he was good.
oh
But
god.
when they compare Darren Fletcher to any of the starting 11 that we had, he was trash, right? We are excellent team. Darren Fletcher was a good utility player. Scott McTominay, in my book, is at best a good utility player as well. But talk to me, Robert. How do you think he's a modern day Darren Fletcher or no?
No, because we can't. The fact is, right, that if we are saying we are behind the manager, right, if that is our MO, we are behind Ten Hag. Ten Hag did not want Scott or Harry.
Then I put them on for sale.
Correct. Which means they were not good enough for the team.
All right.
Right. People seem to not understand. You can't say Fred and Scott in today because they score a goal, and then for the next 2 months we all saying Scott out. It doesn't make sense. If the manager says he has to go, then he has to go. To me, he has to go. To me, if the manager doesn't see him in his plans, then he has to go. Yes, we are all happy. He reminds me very much of Makeda. Makeda came on, scored a goal against Aston Villa. Woo, Makeda, yeah, but he's garbage. No. He's not good enough. Okay, he's not good enough. I told people since then, Makeda is not good. He's not it. No one listens to me. And where is he now? Do you know where he is? No.
That's a very good question. I don't think any of us know where Makeda
No,
is.
but I'm not saying that Scott is that level because he's not. To me, Scott is a good player. He's a good player to have. But like I said, where do you play him? Where is his best position? He has no best position. I mean, you play him in the midfield next to Casemiro.
But what was Darren Fletcher's best position?
His best position was Ferguson took his hand and put it like a puppet and was like, Darren, do this. And he did it. And he was awesome.
He's
Right?
a good next to Carrick.
So just
Exactly.
so the Darren Fletchers, the
John O'Shea's.
Park songs, the John O'Shea guys who did not start
Right.
regularly, but they
Right.
came on for task. You are
Yeah.
telling me that this Scott McTominay
Yes.
cannot do that? There
No.
were times last season, yes, people was like fire for Fred and Scott, but there were times when Fred and Scott was
I
rolling
am not
this team down
saying no.
season before.
I am not saying no.
This is not the
But
first time Scott McTominay has come into this team and
I am
scored
again.
critical
I am
goals
not
in
saying
big
no.
games.
But let's go back to my first statement. Ten Hag doesn't want him here, which means by default you're not good enough for the team. You should not even be here. And to me, I believe if Ten Hag was backed properly,
He
he
wouldn't
wouldn't
be.
be here. You know, we would have gotten if Gravenberch had worked out, he'd have been here and not Scott. You know, if Tapsibo had worked out, Harry wouldn't be here. You know? So yes, I am happy we scored. Yes, I am happy we won the game. Yes. However, you can't allow that one little it's like, you know, you have your woman who is abusive to you. She's abusive. She warns you every day. But because one day she don't warn you. Hey, look, she's good. No, she's not good again. She's a horrible woman. She's horrible. Get rid of her.
One day you come
Get
home
rid.
and you get hot food,
No,
a
no,
foot
no, no.
rub,
Exactly. It doesn't matter.
a back massage, and she's the
You
best thing since sliced bread.
right. But if you came home that day to break up with her, break up with the girl, leave. My thing is just leave. Leave Scott leave Scott. To me,
Take your foot rub, eat the food, say
and
thanks,
say
but
thanks and then go
what's up?
because now if Ten Hag, right? I know, but if Ten Hag had said from the start, Scott is in my plans, and then that is something different. But Scott was never in his plans. Even last season, he was not in his plans. That's you know. So yes, we are happy we won the game. But I say this: we should have never been in that position in the first place. We should have never been in that position in the first place. Never. How could we
Without
be 1-0 down to that team? How? At home.
without a doubt, without a doubt. Guess you get the last word on this.
Now, listen. When we knew that McTominay would have been put up for sale, you know, and Fred was also in that list, I was kind of hoping we hold on to Fred just a bit longer.
You was
And
hoping we
tell
sold
Scott
McTominay and we kept Fred.
we kept Fred because that energy, I'm telling you, that energy is something we will always need in that midfield,
Mm.
right? And Fred, I mean, yeah, McTominay
Fred
does
didn't
work
score any headers for
tirelessly,
us
but
in extra time, I just see. He didn't score any
but he
headers
didn't
for
score
us in
headers for us in
extra
extra
time.
time. But I'm perfectly sure he would have been in the mix of creating a goal, right? When it comes into Preston and them stuff and thing like that, right? But I can go about say, right? He was never he and Maguire. They were never in Ten Hag's plans for this team,
So no
right?
long-term future
How
for
much
those players.
neither,
Let me just
right?
read this
So
comment from
that's
Big
all
Phil. Leave all them utilities in the past with Sir Alex. You understand? Do we think that these kind of players would start in any top teams in the Prem today? And to be honest with you, that's a very valid point. I can't see any of those three players there, John O'Shea, Fletcher, West Brown, starting for any of the top 6 or even the top 8 teams right now.
but that is to show you that is to show you the master class that Alex Ferguson was.
And I always
But we
tell
don't
people,
have a Fergie. We don't have Alex Ferguson.
and times have changed, football has changed, football has evolved. So it's not just the coach, it's not just the
Yeah.
manager, but it's also football itself
Yeah.
has evolved. People's like, if for some crazy reason you have not yet subscribed to the United Hour on YouTube, we're waiting on hurry up, click that subscribe button so you can stay tuned. Next week, we're going to have a whole new exciting line of shows for you. So you need to be able to stick around and see who's going to be on and what's going to be happening. Also, remember to hashtag the United Hour. Share this link, the link to this program on your social media platforms with the hashtag the United Hour, and you will be eligible to win a signed Wayne Rooney t-shirt. You understand what I'm saying? So there's the place you want to be, because you could win stuff and you could be part of exciting conversation, man, that we'll be talking about. And for those people who into fantasy football, you need to check out the Fantasy Blitz on Friday, because we're also going to be having giveaways courtesy of the fan club. So there's the channel where you watch stuff and you could win stuff. You understand? So like, subscribe, share it on your socials, hashtag the United Hour, and get your name down to be part of the draw for that. Gosh.
The competition.
Wayne Rooney.
Right.
Yeah. Wayne Rooney t-shirt. Mm-hmm. So much on your mind. So, gentlemen, David here was spotted in Manchester yesterday. And a lot of people was like, hey, David is back. I don't know what was wrong with them. But David here has a house in Manchester United. In Manchester, if people are not aware. He went to, from my understanding, he went to see about business where the house is concerned, whether he's selling the house or just renting the property, because properties in Manchester, we always have footballers passing through. So there are a lot of people that rent property. So what exactly he was doing with the house, I don't know. But he went to see about his personal business. He also went to take in the Manchester United women playing in our first Champions League match, and we represented ourselves well. We drew 1-1 with PSG women. So kudos to the ladies for a good start to their Champions League campaign.
Yep.
And
unlike us, right? Unlike us.
Oh, but we all know where we are. We don't need to remember that right now. We're going to play Copenhagen in a week and a half. We're going to talk about Champions League that time.
And call Mark, right? And have Mark come and tell these guys how to play some ball. I'm sorry.
If anybody who's unsure which Mark is not talking, he's not talking about Goldbridge. He's talking about our very own Mark Lewis, who is an assistant coach for one of the
no, not Mark Lewis. No.
Which Mark?
Mark Skinner, the coach of the women's team.
Mark Skinner, the coach of the women's team.
Yes.
I like Mark, but let Mark stay on the women's team now.
No, I mean, some of these guys moving like some real.
Well, you feel he might have the touch. He might be able to talk to a man like Sancho and get him to play.
Yeah, because he's a girl now. So he's a girl.
Well, oh gosh, I was hoping you that let people read between the lines, Robert. Oh gosh, you had to spell it out. But we understand. So, I just want to ask this question. We all know David here was just passing through. I just wanted to ask the question from. Do any of you have an issue with Manchester United parting ways with David? Because there are some United supporters that are saying, we should not have parted ways with David. There were some people that were saying, even when we brought Onana, we should have kept David as a backup on the bench and all of this stuff. What is your opinion? Any of you have a problem with Manchester United letting go of David?
I have too much love and respect for David De Gea, right? To see him on the bench. But if he was to move on, I would have thought he would have had another big club to go to or something like that. But if he didn't have no other options, I would have kept you, right? That was the initial plan. Right? Just to lower your wage and keep you. But you say you're leaving and you force a man and he had to go and hunt a keeper immediately. What little finance we had to go and get two strikers. We now had was to find a keeper and one striker,
Mm.
right? And you see people, I doesn't really like to be repeating this and thing like that, but you see people who keep saying, when they look at Onana, there is just wait for Onana blunders to talk about the gear, right? But where is the gear right now? Does the gear
Yeah.
have a club?
If the hair
Okay. And
was worthy,
I just end the discussion right
if the hair was worthy to be a starter for Manchester United, he would have a club because he ain't had to pay no fee for him. You're getting him free.
here. Exactly.
So even if you had to pay all of his present
This is the
wages,
thing.
you would do it. Because I don't think any position, it doesn't matter what position you are in, if you are starting quality for Manchester United and you are on a free, somebody, somewhere, even if it's the MLS, even if it's Mexico, even if it's Portugal, somebody somewhere is supposed to call you and say, come and play for my club. You cannot be
But
a free
nobody,
agent with the window closed, you still a free agent, and nobody in call you, and you free, and you are starting player for Manchester United. Mm,
Real Madrid
something
run
wrong.
into problems with their keepers with injuries. You swear the gear they're going and call. They ain't call the gear on a free. They went for
No,
Kepa.
they pay money, but
What I
they
tell
pay money
you,
to loan Kepa.
Yeah, to loan. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I
right?
mean,
So
we
what
could
I
all,
tell you,
yeah, we could all acknowledge what De Gea has contributed, and in many seasons where he has saved us tremendously. But we could say when it's time to part ways. And the one thing I have to say to those people who like to dog United supporters, who like to dog Onana, you need there is something that you can use to deal with Tabanka. You see that they here Tabanka, all you have punching works for Tabanka. Try it.
we
Don't don't be crying down our new goalkeeper every chance you get. Okay, David here is gone. That ship has sailed. You may have loved him, you may have wanted him to stay. He is not going to be coming back. Support the man who's here now. We all remember that David had a very shaky start. Very, very shaky start. Right? Let's not forget that. So support the man who's here now, and let's not allow the Tabanka to blind you.
Yeah.
Because
But I think
it
you
have
know,
players, people out there with real Tabanka. David here Tabanka.
it have people go tell you, well, the gear was 19 years old at the time, but Onana is a seasoned professional and thing like that and whatnot. I
All
say
I had to do is just start.
comparing Inter Milan to play for Manchester United is two completely different things. When you play for Manchester United, when you sign that dotted line, a target is on your back instantly, right? An anvil is on your shoulders instantly, right? You ain't just um going about normal for yourself anymore, you know. Everything you do say is under the microscope, right? That is the pressure with playing for a club like Manchester United.
Correct. Correct. So, guys, heading into the last topic of the show, and that is Manchester United played a behind closed doors match. We won 3-0 against Burnley. Um, there was talk, oh, let me just read this comment from Ashton on the inside. When they here came to United, he was 20 years old. And now learning his trade, he only played for Atletico Madrid. But Onana, on the whole, who played for Ajax multiple seasons and for Inter. Well, I guess he's saying the same thing that you were
You
just
are saying?
counting. Right, so we had a behind closed doors match. Manchester United won. We are hearing that Donny van der Beek was on the score sheet. There were some concerns about Kobe Mano, because it seems like he was supposed to start the game. He didn't start the game. There were fears that he didn't start the game, maybe because he was re-injured. But my understanding is that there was nothing wrong with Kobe Mano. The management decided, yeah, what's going on. Yes, you're coming back, but let's deal with training. Let's not send you out there to play a game as yet. So it was just a precautionary thing. From my understanding, Kobe Mano is fine. He is still recovering well, and he is not re-injured. The last couple closed door games we played, we lost, guys. I don't know if you'll remember those. So as far as I'm concerned, anytime I hear Manchester United senior team win, I don't care if they're playing Rosary Boys Secondary, primary school, sorry, I'm glad. Because the senior team hasn't been winning enough games. So anything that could build some confidence, I am glad. But what are your thoughts on us beating Burnley in a closed door match?
Yeah, I mean, it was good.
I was supposed to see.
Go ahead, Kes.
I was supposed to see who the lineup was because I think Malasia is back as well.
Oh, I didn't know if he featured. The information about these games have always been. The information for these games are usually very sketchy. For whatever reason, the club never lets out a full 11. They said Donny van de Beek started, because of the score sheet. I don't even know who scored the other 2 goals. So we have little information, so there isn't much we could say. But to me, as I said, anytime the senior men's team win a game, happy days. It don't matter who we beat. Happy days.
That's it, but judging from the training, I know Malasia and one but Saka.
I want to put up this comment here from Suraj. Suraj is saying Ten Hag destroyed Ronaldo and now Sancho. Anybody wonder?
Well, let him destroy Maguire and McTominay too.
Fair enough. I do not have any memes. I have no memes. So, because I have no memes, we are going to do this.
Go away, Mama, no shut your mouth, go away, Mama, no.
So we're going to end the program talking about Top Shutter and Boo Boo Man. And your top shutter is that person, manager, team, something sports, preferably football related, that is really has the Midas touch. It's doing well this week. And, well, I guess from the weekend, because I think the internationals didn't really start in a big way as yet. And your Boo Boo Man is similarly that player who has just been having an absolutely horrible stinker of a time. I know you gentlemen would not have been prepared for that segment beforehand, so I will go first and give you all a little time to think. I mean, without a doubt, the top shutter have to be Scott McTominay. Scott McTominay, a man who many people have written off, a player that, you see, let me tell you something, eh? People that come through the academy and that would bleed for Manchester United, I will always respect them and I will always support them. I can agree that it's time maybe for Scott to move on. And the reason for that is I believe Manchester United need 22 starters. Now, whether he could be part of the 3 or 4 other players that aren't starters, maybe. But we need 22 starters. We cannot even dream to compete with the Manchester United that was under Sir Alex. That time. We cannot dream to compete in the Premier League and in the Champions League and to really be a force, a football force that we used to be without 22 starters. When you look at the likes of Manchester City, when you look at Bayern Munich, when you look at PSG, when you look at some of the real powerhouses out there, these guys have 16 to 20 starters. Them bringing men off the bench that would easily start in other teams. If we don't have that, we're not going to compete on that level. So I could respect Scott, but I could understand why the manager may want to move on. Where's that guess?
Let me just think, throw something in that as well. Not just a big team, right? Look at Newcastle United and look at Brighton. When
Look
they
at the team
make
these
stuff,
fellas
their
building.
levels don't drop. Their
No.
levels don't drop, right? Everybody on from the starting to the bench, everybody on the same level, same energy, same mindset. That is what you have supposed to have.
So we need starters in every position, and their backup should be a starter too. Should be starting or close to starting quality. But all of that being said, Scott McTominay, big up you. You understand what I'm saying? Big up you to Scott McTominay. Yeah, we need to change this. Get rid of that. Right. So my boo-boo for the week are going to be all of those fans that walked out of the stadium because after 8 years, they thought Fergie time was nothing. All of them people who was in the car park and heard the cheers and pull out their phone and was like, shit, right? Because they left. For all of the United fans that switch on the TV, I saw you all in the
That was me.
WhatsApp groups
Yeah.
cussing and quarreling at 86 minutes in and saying F Ten Hag and F this one and da-da-da, and you fed up watch this team and this team hired the press and they spoiled the whole weekend and da-da-da-da-da. See all here? Boo boo for all here. That's what all here this week. Boo boos. Because this team is a Fergie time team and the game does not end until the final whistle.
I left the game at 90 minutes. I went to make lunch. I was like, you know what, fire burn this. I went to make lunch. Went in the kitchen.
Boo,
Well, I go back to the chat.
Boo boo for you, Robert. I'm not gonna lie.
If you
Was
go
I
back to the
impressed?
chat, now if you
Go
go
ahead,
back to the chat, you would have seen what I said at halftime. I said we could still win this. I said that at halftime.
I wouldn't lie. I was watching the game. I was down. I said, Lord, based on our past, games, the likelihood of us coming back here is slim. But after 99, I know my team is capable of miracles. I don't stop watching Manchester United until the final whistle. And I would not lie, that was the kind of pickup I needed. That helped. That set the tone for the whole rest of my week. I still riding on that high right now. I would have been very disappointed in myself if I was one of those people who had switched off and then heard the news afterwards that we win the game. There was something magical, energizing about seeing those goals going in, about snatching victory out of the jaws of defeat, about reliving that, that never say die attitude, and a Scotsman, doing it. We all know that Sir Alex lost his wife over the weekend. Everything about it was so Sir Alex. It's like it was written by angels. They say, you know what? There's the best way we could give a tribute to this man on this weekend. And for those of us who didn't believe, or who didn't at least stay till the end, you might not believe, but you didn't switch off. You didn't walk away in disgust. Big up you. And for those like Robert, who walked away from the TV.
They got me lunch, I was like 5 bundles, I know. I did.
Boo boo man for you. So who wanna go next?
I'll go next. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, yes, go ahead.
Yes.
I know it really hard to to better McTominay as top shot at it. It's really hard. But I will give credit to where credit's due and to Arsenal to beating Man City. Right?
Yeah.
I'll give them credit. Well done to them.
I don't think I've ever said these words in my entire life. These words that I'm going to say right now have never come out of my lips ever. So this is history. But big up Arsenal. Carry on, Kes. Carry on.
I think you wouldn't hear me say it about Liverpool. I go say about Arsenal, but never about Liverpool. Right? But Boo Boo Man, for the week and since the season starts, is the PGMOL. How much letters of sorry them probably already print for the season? Right? It's ridiculous. It's beyond ridiculous. That inconsistency is next level. Right?
True.
It's just it's better scrap bar completely because the referees and them would in the Premier League they're completely worthless.
Unless
Right?
they come and they get some
And the
Caribbean
sorry
referees and
letters
take us over there.
ain't doing shit because they're not overturning the result.
No.
Right? They're not gonna be played over again, anything like that. So get what? A suspension on the weekend and then come back for the next weekend after that. Right?
Well,
Come
they
on.
have to do that for the simple reason that remember you're working with a certain amount of referees. If you suspend a man or demote a man, that means what? You're going to promote a man from the championship to the Premier League to be a Premier League referee. It might be important mistakes. So you had to suspend the man who get trained for the position and bring him back. It's either that or you're just rolling with understaff for the rest of the season. At the rate at which they're going every weekend, they suspend somebody. So by the end of the season, they're not referees. So, and I just want to say, totally agree with you. That's a big Boo Boo Man shout. I have a problem with all of these consistent sorry. I have a problem when our players do it. I have a problem when the referee association do it. You make a mistake, acknowledge you make a mistake. Say, well, all right, so and so referee made a mistake. We'll be taking action against you. Full stop. Yes, I'm sorry. And what are we doing? What are we doing here? I feel too many institutions pandering on this emotionalism thing, and I'm sorry, I'm not for it. Right? So, and it just highlights your mistake. It makes it even worse. A basic 2-line statement acknowledging that an error was made should suffice. And moving on.
Yeah.
It gives men like Klopp ammunition to sit down there and talk dotishness.
Yeah.
Because when VAR was making mistakes for the benefit of Liverpool, he was quiet. He had nothing to say about VAR. All of a sudden, you want to replay game. Anyway, I'm going to end the show and I'm happy.
Imagine if Arsenal did lose that game to Man City. When Kovacic should have been off. Not just once, twice.
Correct. Robert,
all right,
take us out. Your top shutter and Boo Boo Man for the week.
My top shutter, well, I have two. I would say yes to Arsenal. They did great against Man City. But more so, I'll give a real big top shutter to Tottenham. 8 games. You finally reached somewhere. You're top of the league. Finally. In your whole history. You can see it. Right? So I'll say this to all Spurs fans. Take your phone, right? Take a screenshot, right? Take a picture, frame it. Because this is never happening again. Never. Right? Because we all know there's a thing called being Spursy. Yeah. You understand? The thing called this being Spursy. Right? So just take a picture, put it up on your wall and say, you know what, kids, back in the days, we were first. Right? So
in October,
we were first.
You know what I mean? Before you give us your Boo Boo Man, I remember seeing a meme saying the return of the elephant part 2, yes? The return of the elephant and the tree part 2.
Exactly. I mean, I couldn't say it better. And I have a few boo-boos. One, Arsenal fans saying we're gonna go and win the league. No, you're not. You're gonna lose anyway, right? Yes, you beat City, but you're still gonna lose the league. You know why? Because you're Arsenal, all right? Chill out. To 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 Soko, who dived in that game against Luton for Spurs and got a card. How are you so dumb? You dive in to get a card. You are an idiot. But my
You
big
already on a yellow.
oh gosh, oh gosh, right? But my real boo 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 of the week, maybe of the year, is not football. It's not football at all. It is Will Smith. Will Smith, you are my boo boo of the month,
Yeah.
right? Will Smith, you boo boo of the month, the year, the decade, dog. You live with your boo boo every day. You sleep next to your boo boo every night. Get a damn divorce, right? Pay the money, get divorced. Oh God, you have your wife telling people now that since 2012 you and she done. So you slap a man for your
Tell
ex,
me this
For a
shit.
woman, for a woman who disown you on
right?
public TV.
Who you slap a man for a woman who disowned you 12 how much since 2012? How
How much
dog?
more public humiliation this woman would do this, man?
I, I don't I don't know, but dog, go go back, get a
Get she
get your Blu-ray,
get,
right?
get she half. Buy your balls back.
Buy it back.
Buy your balls back.
Go back,
Something,
go
yeah.
by itself, right? Go rent Men in Black. Go rent Independence Day. Go and rent these movies where they showed you as this great hero. Rent it and then act your way out of it. Get your divorce, move on with your life. Because dog is Will Smith. You understand?
Woman
You
tell you
were my
publicly.
hero. Mm. You understand? I used to look up to Will Smith. I was like, that is the guy that I want to be. You feel I want to be, wrong. To be a bitch. You can't be no bitch. I
Like
ain't no bitch.
easy person that you don't want to be right about now.
F.
Peoples, let's end while we still on top.
Mhm.
Before YouTube decide they want to give us some trouble. Remember, Red Devils, we don't die, we multiply. Like, subscribe, share, hashtag the United Hour to win yourself a Wayne Rooney signed authentic t-shirt. We
Yes.
are out.